Hey everybody, Rob here, and we're once again revisiting the MCMagic server in Minecraft. It's Minecraft Monday. I said we'd be doing this, and we took an awesome look at the Phantasmic show these guys did a couple of weeks, and now we're revisiting the parks from a whole new perspective. Now, if you're not familiar, the MCMagic server is a Minecraft server that is basically piece by piece recreating the entirety of Walt Disney World in Florida, which is a gargantuan task, and it's a project that's being worked on by many people, and I have two of those many people with me today. I have Cact901 and End of the Earth, aka End, and they're here to give me a sort of behind the scenes and inside look at Epcot Center, or Epcot, I guess it's Epcot now. So if you guys want to just say hello and tell us a little bit about yourselves.
And you can say.
Okay, hey everyone, I'm End of the Earth. I co-admin this server with Dem190. It is, of course, owned by the real Ducky, aka Walt Disney, as we sometimes call him around here. I was responsible for a fair chunk of the layout for Epcot. I also did ride design for Living with the Land, Journey into Imagination, Universe of Energy, and Spaceship Earth, which you see behind us.
Good stuff. And I'm Cac901. I helped with the landscaping, actually a lot of the landscaping for Epcot and Hollywood Studios. I was one of the main builders on the new test track and just help overall in the park.
Great. So now, before we go anywhere and we start the tour, I'm told that there's an interesting story behind this monorail station right behind us here.
Yeah, I'll tell that story. One day, one of the CMs came up to me and showed me the monorail station because the other one we had wasn't the best looking. And he said, I want to put this on the server. So we got it. We had to whitelist the server because we were on a much older server at the time. And what happened was we looked at the monorail and we said that it didn't look right. So we spent easily 40 minutes changing the color of the monorail while having a list of all the monorail colors up so we could find one that really looked good. And we discovered that the black one looked the best. I don't know if you could see it from down there, but
it's a little tough from down here. We could probably check it out along the tour. Yeah, you guys have the ability to fly. Not something you could do in the real Disney, by the way. And also, for people who might not be aware, CM stands for cast member. It's the term that Disney actually uses for anybody who works at Disney. They sort of use a different set of lingo. It's cast members for people who work there, and the customers are guests. So that's who they're referring to. And for you guys, cast members refer to mods, right?
Yeah, cast members typically refer to mods. We also have two other ranks, admins, which is again me and Dem, and owner, which is again Ducky or Walt.
Great. But out of curiosity, how big does that workforce? How big is that? How many people are we talking?
Isn't it like 30 or 40 people by now, Cac?
yeah, I'd assume 30 or 40.
Wow. So, where are we going first? What are we going to check out?
So, first, we're sitting here under Spaceship Earth. This was actually the first part of Epcot. I was there when the first block for this thing was laid down. There was a big debate when we were building the initial version of this thing over whether or not we were going to use a World Edit tool to build the sphere or do it by hand, because World Edit, it generates an additional block in the middle, and as a result it would be off by around about 6 feet if we did it by World Edit. In the end, the owners said, heck with it, people standing off at a distance won't notice the additional 6 feet, just do the original world generation. But the end result is still pretty true to the ride. So if you give me a moment, I'll go and work a little Minecraft magic and take us behind the scenes of there.
Awesome. Now, in the meantime, so Cact, a little bit about you. How did you get involved with this server?
I joined in late May. One of my friends told me about this. I was a guest for about 2 months or so. Really, Epcot was my home park on the server. I gave around 10 to 15 tours a day.
Wow. So
in Epcot alone, yeah.
Whoa. Where are we?
Okay, so right now you're standing inside Spaceship Earth. At a glance, I'd say that you are sitting in the space between the caveman scene and those red and green walls up there, I believe, are Greece, ancient Greece.
Huh. I'm sort of stuck down here, but I can see them over there. And I see stuff over here. I don't want to fall, as I tend to do in Minecraft. You can definitely tell we're inside the sphere.
And so you can see, like, this central column over here has all these numbers on it. Mm-hmm. The aggravating thing with Spaceship Earth when we were building it is that there's almost no straight lines. It's all curves. It's all on a slant. And so, as a result, when I was building this with a few of the other cast members, it was this big question of, okay, does the slant go here? Is this at this height? And so we had to go and actually track every element of that. And when you go and look behind some of these rides, you'll see bits and pieces like this of us trying to figure out, okay, is it more over here? Should we pick it up and move it a little? And then also, if you go and sneak behind these locations, you'll find the occasional Easter egg. My personal office is sitting way up at the top of this, actually.
That's awesome. I'm going to hop down here.
So, from here, Cact, would you like to go and take Rob off to Mission Space?
Yeah, sure.
Now, out of curiosity, like, when you guys build, you use tools like that as sort of a reference. And I think it goes without saying, but, I mean, I think this ride and these rides are going to be pretty clear indicators that you guys are really aiming for as close to accurate as possible. I mean, down to, I remember when this was being built, you guys were advertising this as being built to scale. But when you finish a ride, like, what's the sort of thought behind leaving things like that? Is it as an Easter egg for people to find, or is it for maintenance on it later and continuing to use it as a reference, or just not wanting to, like, having too many other things to do to take it down?
Well, I mean, there's a number of reasons. Sometimes we know that we're going to be getting another plugin shortly, or that we may need to move things over if the map gets too big. Like, recently, for instance, we had a case where we shifted over to a new map, and so we had to move things over chunk by chunk. And one of the things that we had to move over, or we knew that we were going to have to move over, was Great Movie Ride, which we finished a few months ago, I think. And so when we were originally building that, we had to move it down by 4 blocks, and we had left the world edit positions in there just sitting behind the scenes. And so as a result, when we did the switch around, we were able to go and move it up and down. But beyond that, yeah, we'll leave little Easter eggs in there. Occasionally there'll be an office or apartment. We'll have built an empty cavity. And it gives us something to go and show either new CMs as personal jokes, or sometimes guests like you in behind-the-scenes tours.
Now, Cact, I think are we going to do green or orange? Is there, well, hold on.
I don't know
First,
which one's open.
Is there I was going to say, is there even a difference? Because, I mean, I know the story behind that for people who aren't at Disney is this ride was apparently too intense for some people when it opened. So rather than toning it down,
we're going on orange.
Perfect. They created sort of like a tamer version, the green version. So we're going to go on orange.
The way this ride is run, it's similar to Soarin'. We have a minecart version, and then we have a show version. The show version, I'm not sure, like En said when we switched over the map, I'm not sure if that moved over 100%, so I don't want to mess with that right now. The way it works is it uses pistons, and it drops you down layer by layer, and you see this different scene, and then somebody in a control room would be controlling that and putting people through the ride.
Wow.
So it really is a motion simulator, but this is just the minecart version, so.
Let's do it. This is my first time riding this, by the way.
Hit the button, and then a train cart minecart should spawn shortly. Just kind
There
of
it
hit it.
is. And now we're in. So
There's a
I
couple
think-
stops in here, and it was finished, I believe, like 3 days ago. So
Yeah, you're technically the first guest riding this.
Oh,
so,
awesome.
Fingers crossed.
yeah, actually, I wrote it like 10 minutes ago, but I'm not a guest, so YOLO.
And here we go. So yeah, well, let's go through this first, and then we'll kind of talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The builder of it, well, the main builder, P. Clark, and it was originally fully done on the other map, but when we switched over, there was a world edit issue, so it wasn't able to be fully copied over. So recently, P. Clark and a few others, they went back and redid it with the same idea of building it that went into Star Tours.
Okay.
So it's built basically as that ride is.
Now, for people who haven't been to Disney, this is a ride about going to Mars. Basically, you're in a motion simulator, and you take off. Gary Sinise talks to you. It's magnificent. You go to Mars, and you have an exciting landing on Mars. So that's what you're sort of seeing right now. Is this rocky Mars landing? Now, what I'm really interested in hearing about, and this is like something that has been on my mind since I first rode Soarin', is this is not how the ride is actually at Disney. And Disney, it's a motion. You're in a motion simulator, and you're watching this all on screen. But in here, you're actually in a cart going through a ride space. So, what sort of thought? Oh, there we are. Here I am. What sort of gave you guys the idea to do that, to sort of translate what was on screen through a ride as opposed to just putting a screen there? And how do you go about sort of planning something like that?
One of the original intentions of the server is to build so you don't need a CM to run every single ride, and you don't need to have somebody constantly there. And we're almost building for a map download to give to the guests of the server, so they can run it in single player. So having all the rides done as motion simulators and shows, it just wouldn't work out for the guest. So we figured, like with Soarin', we'd create 2 different experiences. One for if you're on the server and we feel like doing a rare show of the ride, and another one for just minecarting whenever you want.
Yeah, so technically we do have a show version of Soarin' tucked away over to the left. You went and saw the ride version over to the right. The one to the left is just essentially a bunch of stairs attached to pistons on the bottom. And we have a lever that moves them up and down, which is far less interesting in my opinion.
Then we could just copy and paste in scenes.
That's what I was going to say. When you guys say, like, you run a show, what is running a show? It's just, like, what goes into running a show in the show version?
I know with Mission Space, I was one of the only people to really use it, show form. So what we did was we had somebody out in the queue. They would TP guests into the first room. We had somebody in the control booth. And then we had somebody physically on the ride making sure that all the guests moved through, because it was run with pistons, and sometimes Minecraft has issues with pistons. So it takes roughly 3 people to run, and a lot of coordination.
Wow.
Which is why Mumble's such a big thing in being a CM.
Right, the voice chat.
Yeah.
Where are we headed now? It looks like we're going to test track.
Yes, we are. This
Excellent.
ride was built by me and, myself and 8 other CMs in the course of 9 hours.
And this is new test track, so test track closed down.
This is new test track, yes.
Yeah, and this is the more, it's not a Tron test track, but it's a Tron, I feel like it's in the
Tron-esque.
spirit of Tron, yeah.
Yeah. We actually were able to open it the exact time that it opened IRL.
Really?
Yeah, we saw that Inside the Magic and a few others posted a video a couple days before the ride actually opened.
Oh,
so
interesting. So you sort of dissected that and
yeah, we
put it
dissected
together.
4 videos and made an entire ride off of it.
That's incredible.
Yeah, especially because we had an original version of it, which was built to the original. You should have gone through the other queue.
The other queue? Let's do it.
Yeah, that's the more in-depth one. This is just a fast pass side. But we're going to just transfer over the track from the original one, but we discovered that one was very off-scale. So we figured our best bet would be to just recreate the entire thing, which we did, and we set a goal of opening it the exact same time, and we hit that goal.
That's amazing. That leads me to another question, though. So you had an older version of Test Track made. So where is that now? Is that
gone?
It's just gone?
Yeah.
Okay, and that leads me to another thing, which is Disney is known for being a park that replaces rides, opens new ones, closes old ones. Have you guys ever considered doing older rides that aren't open anymore?
There was a consideration that we would create a park as all the parks were when they originally opened.
Interesting.
There's this long-term plan going on that at some point in the far future, once we have all the parks done, all the hotels done, all the water parks done, maybe even all the golf courses done, that we were going to go and look back at all the major old Disney rides and see if we could come up with almost an abstract park of
like a nostalgia
deceased
park.
rides.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Rob, just hit that button.
Yep.
The train cart will spawn.
And this is a new system. It used to be you had to place down your cart.
Yeah, we're almost done. Well, En's almost done transferring over all the rides to this new system, which is very cool.
That brings up a question that I'm curious about. So the server uses a lot of plugins to sort of aid in the recreation of the Disney experience. Like, how do you guys are you guys just like constantly on the lookout for new plugins, or do you see a plugin and think, how can we use it for our server, or do you think this is a thing we need to do to recreate the experience and then try to find the plugin for that?
It's a little bit of both, actually. We, at least I do. I'm on Bucket's website once every 2 or so weeks, just looking at new things that I say, if we're building this ride, I think we should get this plugin. If there's a plugin that exists, we recommend it to the owner, Ducky, and he'll most likely put it on the server.
Awesome.
And then typically there's a period of a few weeks where we all slowly figure out how that plugin works, how they get it to work with one thing or another, and then every so often we'll have this magical moment of inspiration of, hey, you know, this plugin actually has this little thing, and then all of a sudden everyone will go, wait, we can use that for this show or this ride, and it winds up being totally worth it. So this train car thing, for instance, when it was first introduced, we had everything set up so it worked with powered rails, and there was a lot of hesitation of, oh, it's a new system, how is it going to work, how is it going to affect train physics, and having worked with it for a little while, it's definitely affected train physics for the better, and comparatively, the new system makes it so that we don't have as many carts being spammed, and we don't have any unintentional collisions on the ride.
Yeah, I see this plugin as a big plus. I was, along with Jet, who's another CM on the server, the two of us, we were the first ones to really go in depth with the plugin, and everybody else was just kind of testing around. They made a full scale model of King Ka just to test it, because the minecarts could go up vertically on ladders.
Oh, wow.
And so while they were testing that, we're like, we need to put this to the test. So the first ride that we transferred over was People Mover, and then we said, this is going to be amazing on Test Track. We looked up a video of the new Test Track, and we matched the speed almost to the exact second.
You know, it's perfect timing you say that, because I just went outside and now I'm doing the 60-mile-an-hour bit where I'm shooting around. It actually seems faster than the real Test Track.
The average minecart speed is 1. I don't know what unit of speed they're using in Minecraft, but when I filmed a video for my YouTube channel a while back of the new Test Track, and I was editing it, and I said I'm going to sync this up to the actual ride audio.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I discovered that they're going almost exactly twice as fast as what we have on the server of it just going the speed of 1. So it's almost the exact speed.
That's awesome. Now, yeah, what kind of resources do you guys use? You mentioned using videos for new Test Track. When you're building something like Epcot, like what goes into a reference for that?
HD pictures, blueprints, Google Earth.
We have this multi-tier system where we look for most accurate, and then we drop from there using this one really excellent blueprint page we found a while back first. And then after that, we use the measurement tools on Google Earth to determine things in meters. And then we go down through videos high definition pictures, and memory absolutely last.
Wow. So I guess that would sort of present a new challenge if you guys do end up doing some of the older retired rides. There might be I'm thinking Horizons just because I'm a huge Horizons fan. Also, like some of these rides having closed, I guess, before the era of, cell phone cameras and flip cams and being able to record rides.
Blueprint-wise, you'd be confused at how many more older blueprints there are than newer ones.
Oh, really? I guess it's all corporate secrets now.
Yeah. Before we go and ride any more rides, there's something I want to show you, which is over there, which is a cool added detail that we threw into the parks.
Sure. So, you guys you've done Epcot. You guys are working on Animal Kingdom now. Some Epcot resorts. What goes into picking what the next project is? Disney's such a big thing. How do you guys decide what's next?
The original selection went by chronological order, but when we decided to throw in the Epcot resorts, we just kind of said whatever. We'll just build what we feel like building.
It's a good way to go about it.
Yeah.
Do you ever get requests from people on the server of what to do next?
Yeah,
constantly.
all the time. One of the biggest requests was, when are we going to start Animal Kingdom? So another CM and myself, we started on Animal Kingdom, and now the only request that we get is, when's Animal Kingdom going to be done?
Of course. How much of it is tools like World Edit versus just manually going in and building in creative mode?
Well, to answer that question, you need to understand that not everything in Disney World is built on a 90-degree angle, and this is a big component in what tool we use for building a particular structure. So when we're stuck building things on the 45-degree angle, that's all done by hand. So when you go into Hollywood studios and you see these giant studio buildings all built on the 45-degree angle, that's done by hand.
Oh, wow.
Comparatively, when you see things that are built just on the regular 90, like the right side of the Imagination Pavilion or large portions of the Land Pavilion, that's done using World Edit.
So
that's some small cafe. I don't really know what that is.
So, okay, yeah, so we've gone sort of behind the scenes. We've gone through a building that was closed off, and is this the Flintstones car?
Yeah. We kind of... It's a Easter egg, kind of, the parking lots, really.
So, yeah, it goes beyond just recreating the parts of the park that the average Disney guest could see. You guys are also working on parts of the park that the average Disney guest can't see.
Yeah.
Both things that the average Disney guest can't see, and places that the average Disney guest might see but doesn't go as often. So the building that we just passed through, the Odyssey, I don't think that's been used since like the 1980s. Right. And even so, the bathrooms for that are still actually in use. And for whatever reason, the bathrooms in the Odyssey are the most well-documented bathrooms in all of Epcot. There's actually pictures from the inside of those bathrooms. And so we said, okay, well, we have the content, let's go do the bathrooms. And so if you hold up a picture of the bathrooms to our version of the bathrooms, there they are.
Even the bathrooms. And you guys will be you'll be ahead of the game if Mojang ever adds sim-like needs, like going to the bathroom. You guys will already have them.
Yeah, we two of the CMs, Miller and Miller, they're our bathroom experts.
Wow, this is really extensive.
I wish I could tell you I was kidding about that, but they are the people that make all the bathrooms.
Well, and to be fair, I mean, Disney, I think, sort of is an exception in that they go above and beyond with anything they do, including the bathrooms. I mean, what's the most recent one? The bathrooms in New Fantasyland are made to be an old train station. They theme everything.
Okay, so I'm sure that you know where this area is.
Yep. So we were just on this ride above us, test track.
I'll go over there in a minute. First, we'll go to the casting office that I've been trying to get to for the past 3 minutes.
So, question, I'm going to start with you, Cact, and then move on to you, End. What is your favorite ride in Epcot, both in the real Epcot and, like, in terms of what's your favorite sort of project that you've seen built on the park, whether you were, like, involved in it or not?
Favorite ride in real life has to be Ellen.
Oh, nice.
Donna is my favorite guy ever. On the server, I'd have to go with Test Track because the amount of work that we put into it in such a short amount of time.
Awesome. How about you, End?
Favorite ride is arguably Spaceship Earth, which is why I was in such a rush towards the end of the construction of the original MK to say, come on, let's do Epcot, because I really, really, really wanted to build that thing. And so I technically got to go and live the dream of really putting some sweat into making sure that it was precisely like how it felt in the real park. But strangely, in terms of project on the server, in terms of favorite, I'd have to go with Journey into Imagination, because before I started that ride, I knew very little about Redstone beyond switch, redstone piece, repeater, and door at the end of it. And by the time I was finished working on that ride, I feel like I could go and essentially wire up any other ride in the park, and we'll show you down there a little later so you can get some idea of how you go from rolling over one sensor plate to getting music and scenes moving and lights going on and off. And it's just something that I'm really excited about and really happy with. And there's this project that's going to be starting up in another week or two to go and see if we can get Catastrophe Canyon and Hollywood Studios working off of a similar set. And I'm going to be working on the Redstone there, and it's all going to be based on lessons learned from Journey into Imagination.
Awesome. So they're pretty good stories behind both of those picks for you guys. So the building we're in now, can you tell me a little bit about it?
I honestly don't know much about it. I just think it looks cool. It's a casting office for Epcot.
And it's a real building that exists.
Yeah.
Behind Epcot. But this isn't the kind of building that the normal guest on the server, or I guess in real Disney, would be able to get to that easily.
No.
Wow.
Well, I mean, you saw that all we had to go through to get over here.
Yeah, that's. Now, are there any opportunities in which guests on the server ever see something like this, or is this mainly for cast members?
We do some tours that we call them Keys to the Kingdom tour, which is where we take guests for like 10 or so diamonds, which you get diamonds for going to shows and stuff. You get those diamonds, and then you can get a tour where we show you all the behind-the-scenes stuff, really.
That's awesome.
You'll be charged your 10 diamonds at the end of the recording.
Uh-oh. I've got 9 diamonds on me. I'm going to get kicked out.
We'll see if we can fix that by the end.
All right, so we're out of time for this week, but the tour isn't fully over. We're going to be coming back next week with a continuation of the tour of Epcot, and we're going to be doing it. We're going to be starting off next week with what attraction?
Journey into Imagination with Figment.
Great. So be sure to check back every Monday. We do Minecraft Mondays. We're doing a tour of the MCMagic .us, right? That's right. That's the IP,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The complete Walt Disney World recreation project here. So I hope everyone has a fantastic week. I hope you all join me next week as we continue our, journey into imagination. See you, everyone.
See you.